Thomas Umunakwe Aguiyi Ironsi was born on March 3, 1924, in the sleepy town of Umuahia, nestled in the heart of southeastern Nigeria. His family, members of the Igbo ethnic group, held a respectable position within their community. Young Thomas, known for his quiet strength and determination, seemed destined for a life beyond the familiar rhythms of his hometown. At the age of 18, with a yearning for something greater than himself, Aguiyi Ironsi enlisted in the Nigerian regiment of the Royal West African Frontier Force. This decision would forever alter the course of his life, setting him on a trajectory that intertwined with the destiny of a nation on the cusp of independence. His early years in the army were marked by diligence and a thirst for knowledge. Aguiyi Ironsi quickly rose through the ranks, his natural leadership qualities shining through. He commanded respect not through force but through his quiet competence and unwavering sense of duty. His dedication did not go unnoticed. Recognizing his potential, the army sent him abroad for further training, exposing him to diverse military doctrines and broadening his understanding of the world beyond Nigeria's borders. Aguiyi Ironsi's military career was not confined to the parade grounds and classrooms of training academies. He yearned to serve his country on a larger stage. His chance came in the early 60s when Congo descended into chaos. The Congo crisis was marked by political instability and ethnic violence. The United Nations intervened, deploying a peacekeeping force. Aguiyi Ironsi was among the Nigerian troops dispatched. He served with distinction, demonstrating his tactical acumen. His bravery earned him international admiration. He returned to Nigeria a hero, revered in military circles. Nigeria, newly independent from British colonial rule in 1960, was a nation brimming with both promise and uncertainty. The euphoria of liberation was tempered by the daunting task of forging a unified nation from a tapestry of diverse ethnicities, religions, and regions, each with its own aspirations and anxieties. The First Republic, as it came to be known, adopted a parliamentary system of government, modeled after the British system. However, the seeds of discord were sown early on as regional and ethnic rivalries simmered beneath the surface of the newly formed government. The political landscape was dominated by three major parties, each representing the interests of a particular region and its dominant ethnic group: the Northern People's Congress, the National Council of Nigerian Citizens, and the Action Group. Power struggles between these parties, often fueled by ethnic and regional tensions, created an atmosphere of instability and mistrust. Corruption was rife, eroding public faith in the government and further deepening the divides within Nigerian society. As the First Republic struggled to find its footing, the fragile peace was shattered in the early hours of January 15, 1966. A group of young army officers, disillusioned by the rampant corruption and escalating violence, staged a daring coup d'état. The coup, led by Major Chukwuma Kaduna Nzeogwu and Major Emmanuel Ifeajuna, targeted key government figures, including Prime Minister Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Premier Ahmadu Bello of the northern region, and Premier Samuel Akintola of the western region. The coup plotters, driven by a desire for a more unified and less corrupt Nigeria, succeeded in assassinating several high-ranking officials. However, their plans quickly unraveled, and the coup ultimately failed to achieve its objectives. The coup sent shockwaves throughout the nation and across the African continent. It marked a turning point in Nigeria's history, shattering the illusion of stability and exposing the deep-seated divisions that threatened to tear the nation apart. In the chaotic aftermath of the January coup, Nigeria found itself rudderless, teetering on the brink of anarchy. Major General Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi, a man dedicated to order, was thrust into the spotlight. Initially hesitant, he felt a profound sense of duty to restore stability. On January 16, 1966, he became Nigeria's first military head of state. His assumption of power was met with mixed reactions. Aguiyi Ironsi, a staunch believer in a united Nigeria, viewed the ethnic and regional divisions that plagued the nation as a significant obstacle to progress. He believed that a strong, centralized government was necessary to overcome these divisions and forge a sense of national unity. On May 24, 1966, he promulgated Decree No. 34, which became known as the Unification Decree. This decree abolished the federal system of government and replaced it with a unitary system, effectively concentrating power in the hands of the central government. The Unification Decree was intended to promote national unity and streamline governance. Aguiyi Ironsi argued that a unitary system would reduce regionalism, eliminate duplication of government functions, and promote economic development by allowing for a more equitable distribution of resources. However, the decree was met with fierce opposition from certain quarters, particularly in the northern region. Critics viewed it as an attempt to impose Igbo hegemony on the rest of the country. They feared that the predominantly Igbo military government would use its newfound power to marginalize other ethnic groups and advance Igbo interests. Section 7. The Gathering Storm. The Unification Decree proved to be a turning point in Aguiyi Ironsi's short-lived rule. What began as a well-intentioned attempt to foster national unity backfired spectacularly, igniting a firestorm of controversy and deepening the ethnic and regional divisions he had sought to heal. The northern region in particular felt aggrieved by the decree. The north, with its larger landmass and population, had enjoyed a considerable degree of autonomy under the federal system. The Unification Decree, they felt, stripped them of their power and reduced them to a subservient position within a centralized state. Resentment towards Aguiyi Ironsi and his government grew, fueled by rumors and propaganda that painted him as an Igbo nationalist intent on subjugating the north. The situation was further exacerbated by the perception that the January coup plotters, though from various ethnic backgrounds, had targeted northern leaders while sparing their Igbo counterparts. As tensions escalated, whispers of a counter-coup began to circulate. Aguiyi Ironsi, seemingly oblivious to the brewing storm, pressed ahead with his vision of a unified Nigeria, unaware that he was walking into a trap that would seal his fate and plunge the nation into chaos. Section 8, July 1966, A Nation Divided. In the sweltering heat of July 1966, the simmering tensions that had plagued Nigeria since the January coup finally boiled over. On July 29, a group of Northern Army officers, led by Lieutenant Colonel Murtala Muhammad and Major Theophilus Danjuma, staged a bloody counter-coup. The coup plotters, driven by a potent mix of anger, resentment, and a thirst for revenge, targeted Igbo officers and soldiers, seeking retribution for the perceived injustices of the January coup and the subsequent policies of the Aguiyi Ironsi regime. Aguiyi Ironsi, who was on a state visit to Ibadan in the western region, was caught off guard by the swift and brutal counter-coup. He and his host, Lieutenant Colonel Francis Adekunle Fajuyi, the military governor of the western region, were abducted by the coup plotters. Their fate remained a mystery for several days, fueling rumors and speculation. It was later confirmed that both Aguiyi Ironsi and Fajuyi had been brutally murdered by their captors on July 29, 1966, their bodies dumped in a shallow grave near Ibadan. Section 9. The Legacy of Ironsi. The assassination of Aguiyi Ironsi sent shockwaves throughout Nigeria and beyond, marking a dark turning point in the nation's history. His death shattered any remaining hope for a united Nigeria, paving the way for a brutal civil war that would claim the lives of millions. Aguiyi Ironsi's legacy is a complex and contested one. He was a man thrust into extraordinary circumstances, a soldier who found himself at the helm of a nation teetering on the brink. His intentions, many believe, were noble, to heal the divisions within Nigerian society and forge a stronger, more unified nation. However, his methods, particularly his decision to implement the Unification Decree, proved to be his undoing. The decree, perceived by many as an attempt to impose Igbo hegemony, alienated a significant portion of the population, particularly in the north. Aguiyi Ironsi's short-lived tenure as head of state was marked by a combination of good intentions, political naivete, and tragic miscalculations. He failed to grasp the depth of the ethnic and regional divisions within Nigeria, and his attempts to impose unity from above only served to exacerbate these divisions. Section 10. Conclusion. Thomas Aguiyi Ironsi's story is a cautionary tale of leadership, ambition, and the fragility of peace. He was a man who rose through the ranks of the military, earning a reputation for his competence, integrity, and unwavering commitment to duty. However, his tenure as Nigeria's first military head of state was tragically cut short, his vision for a united Nigeria shattered by the forces of ethnic nationalism and the bitter legacy of colonialism. His death plunged Nigeria into a spiral of violence and retribution, culminating in a devastating civil war that left an indelible scar on the nation's psyche. Aguiyi Ironsi's legacy serves as a reminder of the complexities of nation-building, the enduring power of ethnic and regional identities, and the importance of dialogue, compromise, and understanding in a nation as diverse as Nigeria.